All right, good morning and good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you're joining us from. This is the Integrated Digital Professional Management, and we are glad once again to welcome you to this wonderful section, this Hangout section on entrepreneurship and career growth. It's a Hangout section, and all we want to do here is to interact, to discuss, and to discover. Okay, so one more time, you're welcome. If you're just joining us, please kindly let us know where you're joining us from, your name and your location. We'll really appreciate that in the comment section. So you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's go ahead and share the stream and invite as many people as possible. Let them know that we're on and this discussion has just begun. So meanwhile, I'm not the only one here. I have other colleagues of mine joining, and many more will still joining just to share thoughts on entrepreneurship and share thoughts around career. Okay, so the question here primarily is, how do we combine entrepreneurship and career, or is it possible to combine entrepreneurship and with career? So that's more of what we're going to be dealing with here. And then we're also going to look at the challenges around entrepreneurship currently. Okay, the challenges around the entrepreneurship in current dispensation. So that's more of what we're going to be dealing with. With me today, we have Mr. Ike Nokafo, who will be joining us very shortly. And then I also have Damilola Olani, who is also joining us. So one more time, we're all welcome. In the body of our discussion, we'll be discussing around building a successful startup from scratch and then navigating the challenges and overcoming obstacles in entrepreneurship. So we're going to be using the Nigerian context as a case study. Why using the Nigerian context as a case study? We are also going to look at what's happening in other parts of the world. So through your comments, through your contributions, we'll be able to know what's happening around the world. Okay, as regards to entrepreneurship and as regards to career. So one more time, we're all welcome. Then we're also going to look at crafting a compelling personal brand, networking strategies for career growth, and then we look at balancing work-life harmony, and then harnessing the power of technology and innovation. So those are the things we're going to be looking at today in this discussion. And we're just going to have this discussion for a few minutes, and then we will be rounding up just in a moment. Okay, so you're all welcome. And like I said, joining me this moment, I have our well-beloved expert in the HR community, and he's also an expert in the SME domain. So we have Dr. Ike Nokafo. So in a moment, he'll be introducing himself. And then we'll also have Jamilola Olaniyi, who will also be introducing himself. So in a short while we introduce yourself, please go ahead, share the link, invite someone, and then let's be ready to have this discussion together. My name is Ebuche Osibanito, and I'm the host for this program, and the moderator for this program will soon introduce himself. All right, thank you so much, and one more time, you're welcome. Okay, so I'll be giving the platform for my colleagues to introduce themselves. So we are joining on this hangout from different parts of the world. So while they introduce themselves, please feel free to also introduce yourself in the comment section, right? Okay, thank you so much. So I'll be handing over to my colleague, Mr. Ikenna Okafor, as he introduces himself. And after that, I will have Damilola Olani, who will also introduce himself. Please, Mr. Ikenna, over to you. If you can hear me, please, over to you. Please, Mr. Ikenna, if you can hear me. Okay.
All right.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
sir. Yeah.
Yes. I was in a journey, but I had to I had to back somewhere. You know, the job has to be done.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Ikenna Michael Okafor, popularly called Oga HR. I am a human resource professional, a management consultant, and in fact, a human resource practitioner. Thank you so much. I am also the Deputy Registrar of Integrated Operational Management, a member of the faculty. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Ikenna is always ever ready to attend to situations, even if he's in the most uncomfortable place, we always find a way to make things work. And we sincerely appreciate you for that. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so we have also among us, we have Damilola Olani. Please, Dami, if you can kindly unmute and let's go ahead and hear from you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Damilola Olani. I'm a brand strategist and, of course, a trainer. I focus more on personal development and management as well. It's such a wonderful time with every one of us here today, I believe. All right, please reach out to your friends, your colleagues, and those that you think they will also need to be here today. And don't forget to bring out your writing materials so we can learn together going forward. Thank you for having us.
All right, thank you so much. Just be rest assured that anytime you find yourself in IPM, and that means the moderator, you have to bring out your pen and your writing material because that's very, very important. Okay, so Dami is going to be our moderator for today, so I'll be handing over to him so that he will take over from here. Meanwhile, we have some very important questions that we'll be answering, myself and SME Doctor. I think I can say I have over 10 years experience when it comes to entrepreneurship, running businesses and all of that. And likewise, Mr. Ikenna, okay, we are not just entrepreneurs by book, we're entrepreneurs by practice. Okay, so we are infopreneurs. Okay, we are infopreneurs. And I'm sure by the time we look at all these questions and then take a look at your own questions in the comment section, we'll be able to come up with something. So please go ahead, share the link, and let's have our colleagues joining us in this discussion. Go ahead, share the link. If you've not liked the stream, like it, share it, drop your comment, ask us your questions. Okay, ask us your questions. Questions around entrepreneurship, questions around career, questions around branding, questions around getting a job or changing job. Okay, just ask us any questions around these domains. Okay, and then we'll be here to answer. So I'm handing over to Damilola right away. So Dami, please go ahead. Okay, so is Dami having a challenge with his network over there? Okay, Dami seems to be having a challenge with his network, wherever he is. Okay. Okay, so while Dami sorts out his network challenges, maybe I will just proceed from here. So I'm going to throw my first question to SME Doctor. You know, his name, before he became Oga HR, he was actually an SME Doctor, and he's still an SME Doctor, right? Okay, so before we ever put Oga HR in his name, we'll first of all put SME Doctor. And thanks to God, he has fully become a doctor and now a full-time SME Doctor, not just as a practical name, but now as something that he had earned. Okay, so he's now a full doctor. So he's now Dr. SME and Oga HR. So I'm going to throw my first question to Mr. Dr. Ikenna. And the first question I want to ask, I am very much convinced that we have people joining us from different parts. So thank you so much, Debbie, for joining us. Thank you so much, Mr. Al Mukama, for joining us. We have 11 people here. please feel free to let us know where you're joining us from. Okay, thank you so much, Orient Models, for joining us. So feel free to let us know where you're joining us from, and go ahead to share the stream and keep sharing it till everybody get to know what's happening here. So I have the understanding that quite a number of us are from different countries. So, but I believe entrepreneurship has some views. So we will take from African perspective, Nigeria to be precise, and then perhaps you share with us in your own perspective what's happening around your own country. So to Mr. Iken, that first question I want to ask here is, how can we see entrepreneurship today in Nigeria and in the African domain? How can we see entrepreneurship today in Nigeria and in the African domain?
Okay. First of all, there have been a tremendous increase on the spring of entrepreneurship, and this data is gotten from basically BOI, and in Nigeria here also CAC, the number of businesses registered. Okay, so we have a lot of people doing a lot of businesses, a lot of things, and for me, it has to do with creating value and solving problem. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I see people come on the group and ask, which business should I do with 30,000 naira that will fetch me 50,000 naira every day and every week? First of all, I think that is setting the cat before the horse. So, but for those who understand what entrepreneurship is, they've gone ahead to first of all solve problem, identify a problem, look at what if something has been done in that field before, whether they are improving or they are bringing something new or they are even removing what is existing. So entrepreneurship in Nigeria, Africa, and especially, it's expanding and it's growing. Yes, there are challenges being faced by entrepreneurs, and I really don't think at this moment access to capital is one of them, because there is now be a spring of collaboration by people. There's been a spring of serious collaboration. So, and people are beginning to understand that they don't need that 1 million to start a business any longer. They don't need 2 million to start a business. They can start business with as low as whatever you can get. People who are doing all this liquid PEF, pocket PEF, hand sanitizers, all this, many of them did not start up to 100,000 naira. So, for me, entrepreneurship has to do with solving problem, identifying a problem and solving, which it's happening these days. It's happening. And we can't even talk about entrepreneurs, we're not even talking about entrepreneurs, but that's a conversation for another day. But however, there is actually growth, and there's a projection that what we have now, we're going to have up to 38% growth by 2025. This is following the so much change from the 2020 coronavirus that some people are not out of it, while some people have capitalized on it and are building on what they've actually gotten from that period.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for giving us that background overview of the awareness of entrepreneurship, especially in Nigeria, as it were, and then also having to let us know that capital is no longer a problem for entrepreneurs in Nigeria now, and will by default extend that to Africa. And why this is so is because there is now room for collaboration. So collaboration has sorted out that problem of capital. But there's something very, very important you mentioned here. You said entrepreneurship is creating value and solving problems. Okay, creating value and solving problems. And I love that. So we can summarize entrepreneurship as creating value and solving problems. Okay, so we are still moving forward. And if you have any question, please feel free to drop them in the chat room. We'll have more people joining us from Calabar. Please, the person that is Everything Clothing, we appreciate if you tell us your name and where you're joining us from. Okay. So the name is Ekuma Okechukwu from Ekwe State. All right. Then we'll have Abiodun from Abeokuta. And then we'll have Adekoyeju Ogayemi from Abuja. All right. Thanks. So everyone for joining us. In case you've not dropped where you're joining us from, please feel free to drop. Let us know your name and where you're joining us from. Let us know your name. If your name is not the same as your handle, let's know your name and where you're joining us from. Okay, so we are dealing with issues around entrepreneurship. This is a hangout And of course, in Hangout, what we want to do is to discuss and just to discover. All right. So we don't have any slide to give you. Okay. So more of what we're doing here is to discuss our personal affairs, you and we, your question, our answer to help us discover and add more value. And Mr. Kenna, or Dr. Kenna rather, has kickstarted this discussion section. So I'm going to go ahead, now that he has told us that entrepreneurship is primarily about finding out value and then solving problems, or creating value, solving problems and creating value. And there is something he also talked about. He talked about identifying opportunities for the purpose of creating value and solving problems. Identifying opportunities for the purpose of creating value and solving problems. Now, I'm going to add to it before we press to the next question. And the next question is going to be on why should people be so much interested in entrepreneurship? Okay, why should people be so much interested in entrepreneurship? But before we go into answering that question, he made mention that there is a high rate of awareness going on right now because of what COVID-19 brought. Okay, so he said something. He said, before we talk about entrepreneurship, we need to talk about intrapreneurship. So that's from within. So Dr. Ken, I'm coming back to you. Why would you say before we talk about entrepreneurship, we need to talk about intrapreneurship? Dr. Ken, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay, you see, there's this thing they do say that entrepreneurs are is it are made or something like are born or something like that. So entrepreneurs are born. Yes, I'm not part of that theory, because this is how I am. Does not mean you cannot change. Does not mean you cannot be influenced. Does not mean that external factors don't nurture us to be who we are. Entrepreneurship has to do with having self-awareness of certain skills and capability that you have, certain skills, talents, and capability that you have. So let's say, for instance, you are talkative, and when you talk, people laugh. That is, with that, we're already saying that you have the understanding, you have the gift, you have the talent of being a comedian. You are the type that when, no matter the situation, when you talk, everybody listen. You are persuasive. It means maybe you are a motivational speaker, or a trainer, or a teacher. Maybe you are the type, like somebody, a little girl I have in my house, who fixes everything. Anything she sees, she wants to fix it. That is already a skill that she's developing for herself to become a fixer, maybe an engineer, maybe an architect, maybe whatever it is. So entrepreneur has to do with that internal awareness of who you are, the skills you have, the talent you have, that you can now, that when it cannot contain, it explodes. You begin to think. In fact, there's no box, so I can't even say outside the box. You begin to think out of your mind. That monologue starts. What can you do before it becomes a dialogue? You need to investigate and say, okay, let me do my research on this. How can I go about this? So it starts within. That's why I'm saying you have to talk about entrepreneur. Not everybody can be an entrepreneur. Not everybody. That has to do with even your temperament, your personality, your character, your attitude. So some people will be very successful in working for other people. But even when they're working for people, they are still entrepreneurs. Why? Because they have to discharge their duty in a way that's going to be profitable to the organization. In that case, they are not doing real buy and selling, but in discharging their duties, in building their career, they have to do it in a way that is going to be profitable. And lastly, proving that you have to be an entrepreneur is that for those that earn salary, for instance, you are being paid 100,000 naira. 100,000 naira is your revenue. It's from that 100,000 you have to bring out your costs. And what are your costs for the month? Your rent, your transportation, your feeding. Then whatever is left becomes your gross profit. Maybe when they remove tax, you now get your net profits. So those are so entrepreneur. Everybody can be an entrepreneur, but not everybody can be an entrepreneur. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, SME Doctor, for that highlight once again. Now, there are some very topical things he has raised, and I would like to point them out. So the question is, why do you need to, first of all, be an entrepreneur? That's from within to becoming an entrepreneur, that's without, okay? And he has made a very, very profound statement that, first of all, you need to discover yourself. You need to have a self-awareness of yourself. Okay, you have to have an awareness of yourself before you could become or start thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, because it is out of the abundance you have that you're willing to give. So that's where entrepreneurship comes in. That's within, having to discover yourself. Okay, entrepreneurship, having to discover yourself, your abilities. Okay, for out of the abundance that you have, that's what you're going to give. So entrepreneurship is more of self-discovery that will bring about public delivery. Okay, self-discovery that will bring about public delivery. And there is something else he said, and I would like us to hold that very well. You know, for those of us that are in the HR industry, when we say that entrepreneurs want to hire entrepreneurs, not everybody understand that. Okay, but he had said something. He said, even as a career person, you need to be an entrepreneur because you need to deliver your work in such a way that it will be profitable to the organization that you're delivering it to. All right, and this is very, very important. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers for the purpose of maximizing profit using the least available resources. Using the least available resources to solve problems for the profit, for the purpose of profit maximization. Now, whether you are an independent entrepreneur or you're a career person, you have to have that ability of entrepreneurship. Should I say, maybe I stand to be corrected, a lot of people today are not employed because they are not entrepreneurs. A lot of people today are not employed because they are not entrepreneurs. Now, how do I mean? They are not entrepreneurs in the way they think. They are not entrepreneurs in the way they act. They are not entrepreneurs in their behavior. They are not entrepreneurs in their character. So if you're not an entrepreneur in behavior, in character, in your actions, in your inactions, then be rest assured that it will be difficult for anybody to hire such a person. Okay, so this is very, very important. Okay, so let me read some comments from the comment section. Please feel free to send us your view on all of these things we're sharing. If you have a question, please feel free to send in, okay, and we'll answer them. Okay, this discussion is just for about an hour, and after an hour, we'll thank you for coming, and then we'll share the grace and make sure that everybody gets a portion of that. All right, okay, so thank you once again to Dr. Ikenna. And I have okay, so people joining us from Benue State, Stephen Ame from Benue State, thank you so much. And then Debbie Pat says something, said people are so interested in entrepreneurship because it gives room for growth of potentials and fulfillment of proposed vision, and this leads to self-actualization of purpose. All right, thank you so much, Debbie, for bringing that in, and that will lead us to our next question. But before we move to our next question, please be reminded that you first of all need to be an entrepreneur. You need to be an intro, okay? So you have to be an entrepreneur first from within before you go becoming an entrepreneur on the without. All right. So questions he asked is, what are your personal abilities? What are your personal abilities? What are your personal abilities? So I will ask Dr. Kenna one more question, and please note that this is a hangout section. Whatever thing we're saying here, we're not saying they're absolute. Okay, and that's why we also want you to give us a voice. Okay, feel free to share what you think about this whole thing. Remember, all we are here to do is to discuss and discover. Okay, so Dr. Ken, I have a question. People always say that passion passion is very, very important when it comes to entrepreneurship. Okay, so you have to be passionate about that. If you're not passionate, so there's a possibility you won't be able to get what you want. So what's your view about that? Passion and entrepreneurship. What do you believe that passion is foundation to being a successful entrepreneur? Dr. Ken, over to you.
Yes, thank you. You know, I'm the only one actually doing hangout because I'm outside hanging out for this. When other people are in their houses. Okay, so passion plays a very important role in entrepreneurship. That is why you see that people. I'll give two scenarios. People go into business, the business fails, they pump in money again, the business fails, they pump in money again, the business keep failing until the business peak. For me, that's passion. I know my artist who draws me with pencil, he studied law.
Wow.
He was forced into studying law, if I'm to say. His father is a very respected person in immigration. As I speak now, he's working in immigration, but he still draws pencil acts. So what he's doing now, he's drawing all the big organs in immigration. And he tells me that the money he's getting and the access he's getting from drawing, that even if he's a 3-star, he's currently in 2-star, even if he's 3-star or even a superintendent immigration, he will not have those accesses that he's having. That is passion. So the irony of it is that sometimes you might even have a skill in something, but you don't have the passion for that thing. So what will now happen is that you have to go and learn that thing that you have the passion for. So passion plays an important role. In fact, passion is that thing that keeps you going whenever that thing has failed.
Yeah.
When your capital has failed, when there is no motivation from internal or external, or external, but internally, you are getting your motivation because of the passion you have. So passion plays an important role. And that is why in today's world, you see people who they are seeking for a job, and it will be very clear to you that they don't have passion for what they've studied. They don't have passion for the job that they are doing. And what happens is that, they are just there just for the job, and they won't invest in it because there's no passion. They won't invest. When you have passion for yourself or for what you are doing, you will invest in it. You will see your job as, I always tell my people, I'm catching fun. I've been a HR. HR is a fun thing to me. Sometimes you see me in the morning as I'm leaving for work, I'll video myself, I'll have a chat with my colleagues, and it's because I love my job. I love what I'm doing. So if you have passion for your job, you're looking out for Monday. In fact, when it's Friday, you'll be like, oh, weekend has come again now, so I will not see my colleagues again. I will not even see my guy again. That's what passion can do. Or, today is also this thing. I will not go to office and match my machine. I've missed matching of machine. Or I'm a boat or Uber driver. I've missed driving. So part of the things I had passion for was driving. So when I graduated, I told myself I'm not going to look for a job for one day. So immediately I finished school, served. The next month, I wanted to go and buy keke. My cousin said, no. I know you like driving anything drivable, but no, not keke, not keke, not keke. And the COVID period, even during the COVID period, I was driving Uber after my work, because we are now closing by 2 or thereabout. When I close, because I love driving, sometimes I'll carry people. When they get to their junction, I'll say, your money is 1,500. They'll give me 1,500. I'll give them back 500. So what's happened? I said, don't worry, I just love the fact that I'm driving around. I was driving around Abuja, and so I've worked in a very distant place before in Kano, coming to Abuja. I enjoyed most of the time driving. People were like, why are you driving through the road? It's passion. But do I even want to become a commercial driver? Well, maybe HR taking that passion away. But what I now is I drive myself to work. Even when I know that I have my colleagues who can drive, I'm like, okay, let me drive. No, don't worry, let me drive myself. So passion plays important role, significant role in entrepreneurship.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so passion plays a significant role in entrepreneurship. Now, I wrote down something here, and I would like to read it out. Now, not every investor is an entrepreneur. And not all entrepreneurs, not every investor is an entrepreneur. And not every business person is an entrepreneur. However, an entrepreneur is an investor. An entrepreneur is a business person. But what makes the difference between an entrepreneur and these other domains is called passion. An entrepreneur is willing to give all to make sure that his vision succeeds, even when nobody is seeing what he's seeing, even when nobody tends to encourage him or her, he or she is still bent on getting that done. Why? Because he sees that by achieving that which he or she has proposed to do, that there will be solutions available and life will be made easier for people. But there is something that Dr. Kenna said. He said, passion is what keeps you driving, even when nothing else seems to be working. Passion keeps you on your toes. Now, let me say this. You may not need, when you want to invest, you may not need passion. This is very, very important. When you want to invest your money, like some of us invested in several places that we don't even care whether those businesses are succeeding or not, but those places are not our passion. But there is one place that might not even be paying you as much as your investment, but you're just there. Okay, you're just there. Okay, so passion is very, very important. If you think otherwise, please let us know in the chat room. And then he said something else also that touched me. He said many people learn skills, but because they are not passionate about what they've learned, they tend not to venture into it. And this corroborates with one of the things I said in one of the sections that we had, that people have skills, people have knowledge, okay? Like most of us have gone to school, you know. If we were actually passionate about what we studied in school, what we would have had was, like those of us that studied courses that were having eight courses per semester, and you're going to do that for 2 semesters, that's going to be 16. And then you're going to do that for 5 years, that's going to be 40 courses, or let's say at least 30 courses. So if we're actually passionate about the things we're studying, we would have had access to a minimum 30 ways to create, to solve problems, 30 ways to create solutions and all of that. If we were quite passionate about the skills that we learned, about the schools we went, we wouldn't come out to say there is no job. We wouldn't come out to say, I don't have capital to start. Okay, so passion has to be linked to your skill. Passion has to be linked with the knowledge you're driving. Dr. Kenna has, in his foundation, I think, in his degree days, I think he studied, history? Yes, he studied history. I think it's history. Dr. Kenna, I think it's history you studied. I think he studied history. And then he studied in his MSc days, he did something else, his international relations and all of that. But his passion is HR. And that is where he's making most of his mark today. His company, his personal company is in HR. Where he's working is in HR and all of that. Okay, international. He did MSc in international relations, and then what do you call that one? Degree in history, something like that. Okay, wonderful, wonderful courses. But today he's a full-time HR. He's a chartered HR. He is a practicing HR. He owns a HR company, and okay, maybe HR driver also. So passion has a very great role to play. Passion has a very great role to play. Now, I have someone writing here, he said, first criminologist. This person is the first criminologist. What is the role of capital entrepreneurship? Even when entrepreneurial skill, not entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurial skills are there, and there is no capital to actualize it. Okay, so I'm going to call in Dr. Ken now. If you have any answers to any of the questions being asked, please feel free, use the chat room and also drop your own questions. But this is a hangout, so let's all learn together. Now, by the end of this section today, you should be well motivated. You should be well encouraged, inspired to do beyond what you're doing. So, Dr. Ken, I'm going to come back to you. And please, we are looking at the chat room, taking all the questions as much as we can. Please feel free to send in your questions and what we take them. And the person that is the person that is having first criminologist, I will really appreciate if you can drop your name and where you're joining us from. So kindly let us know your name. So Dr. Kenna, you got a question. What is the role of capital in entrepreneurship, even when intrapreneur skill, that's the internal ability skills are there, and there is no capital to actualize it? So can you say something about that?
I said earlier that capital is no longer a problem. I know people say it's a lie. It's a lie. It's not. I mean every sense of it, but that does not mean I'm downplaying the importance of capital in entrepreneurship. See, when we talk about capital, we are quick to look at money in the bank. Money in the bank is not capital. Money in the bank is not capital. The real capital is human being. The real capital is human being. I'll give you a very good example. I know you have passion for driving, right? I think the three things I have passion for, let me just say it. So, and all of them, I'm doing things around them, is animals. I love animals a lot. So much. So at the moment now, I want to go into, I did rabbitry before I left Abuja and sold my stock, and I want to come back to it. Now I'm saying, okay, I'm not coming back to rabbitry. Let me go into piggery. I don't have money to start that. When I ask how much is a pig, they say it's around 250K. A very good stock. So, and I was like, okay, fine. I don't have a pig. So what I've done now is that I've gone to somewhere and said, you have this land that is not doing anything for you. This man, somewhere around Niger State, he has a very vast land. It's not doing anything. Can you give me this land? I want to do so and so there. If I make profits, I'm going to give you not the money, but livestock. Now, I have my business plan on this already, and I have my projection. So if in 1 year, I'm able to make wild guess, now I'm not giving you a actual figure now, I'm able to make 100 pigs, and I'm giving this man 10% of it, which is 10 pigs. I'm not paying for it in the real sense in cash, but I'm giving him back the livestock in terms of the land. Now, for the person carrying the pig, we are partnering as well. Also running a partnership on getting getting the pig. What am I doing? I'm expanding her business. We negotiated that what we are doing is an expansion. So she will further get a profit from in fact, I'm just a franchise. But for the other man, I'm the owner of the business. So in this, I think the capital I'm going to say from here now, I'm still going to her farm to check out some things. So maybe the capital I'm going to spend is maybe money for my fuel, for calls, and some other, maybe a 50 or 100,000 naira. So what I'm saying is, the real currency is in people, not in that money you're talking about. That's what it's called OPM, other people's money. That even when you are a tailor, you want to start running till you don't even have a machine. You can collect clothes and partner with people who have. There is an employee of mine. It doesn't have a shop. It doesn't have a single machine, but because it's a tailor. I don't know whether it's on the Zoom on the YouTube class, because I dropped this link for them. He calls himself a tailor, and he has took my measurements now. I'm hoping he will give me a cloth, but I know he doesn't have. I know he doesn't, but I see what he wears. I see the brand, and he put brand name in it too. His brand name. I'm like, are you a scammer? So what we are saying is, see, you don't necessarily need more. What you need. So what he does, he has targeted me. He has met me. He has met the general manager of human resource. He has met the expatriate HR. He has met. So all people now will pay advance. We will pay advance. So maybe he charges us 15,000 naira. The person will do the actual sewing. The person who did actually might be collecting 8,000 naira, and he has the other 7,000 naira to his name or thereabouts. So what are we saying? Capital plays a very important role, but don't look at capital from the part of money alone, cash, dollar and naira alone. If you do that, then we may begin to question the entrepreneurship skills in the person. So,
Yeah.
because you have to think outside your mind, outside your head, much more of capital. If again, in fact, everything boils down to collaboration, but collaboration in different ways. I talk of other people's money, I talk of other people's influence. You can get the particular product with other people's influence. There's a friend of mine now that is getting a particular product just because of the mention of a name. He worked with this particular boss. He separated. After 4 years, they are back together as partners. And the boss just made a phone call. The social person that worked with me as my admin officer, please give him not more than 2 million naira goods. Please, not more than 2 million. That is what I can pay if he runs away. And we all laughed about it. And this guy is getting 2 million naira goods every 2 weeks. And he's making a profit of maybe 250 every 2 weeks, 250 to 300. Can you see that? So the last option is pulling resources together. Pulling resources. One of the problems we have is I want to run alone, I want to get all the profits. When I was doing this analysis of my pig returns, I said, no, but at the end of the day, I don't get anything. I said, yes, I don't get anything. But he said that little I have, that days of humble beginning I have on that particular issue. So you can put resources together. Okay, I need 500,000 to start a business. So you don't have 10 friends you can put together to put 20,000 naira. You need 100,000 to start a business. You don't have 10 friends you can put to get 10,000 or 20 friends to give 5,000. Right? So these are also part of it. You put resources together. You put resources. And that's part of the strategy we've used in IIPM. In IIPM, Mr. Bento cannot say he runs alone. He has capitalized on the human resources available, because if he's going to go and get resource person, he's going to pay very high. But we leverage on relationship and influence of the people around to get what. So this thing we are saying, it's not rocket science. It's not, we are doing it. It's something that is being done.
Yeah.
It's practical. So money plays a role, but please don't look at it from the aspect of naira and dollars.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ikenna, for sharing that broad insight. Okay. So the person that asked this question, his name is Olukayode Adesui from Lagos. So thank you so much for asking that question. And one more time, in case you've not liked this stream, please go ahead and like the stream. Now go ahead and share. Get other people to join us here, right? This is very, very important. Our coordinator was having a network issue, so I believe he's back online. So we can go back to the chat room and still invite people, let them know that we are still on, and we'll be rounding up in a moment. All right. Now, there are quite some very, very critical things Dr. Ikenna said, and I would like to highlight them. You know, when you're reading news, after you've read the news, now you now summarize the news. So let me summarize some of the things he has said. Okay, so we have, he mentioned, the question was capital. Somebody has, having had entrepreneurial skills, and then you don't have the capital. Okay, now he made it very easy for us to understand that capital is no longer, or does not just border around money, naira and dollar. My mentor, Dr. Larry Phillips, he will be in one of our shows one of these days to discuss entrepreneurship his own way. Okay, so maybe in 2 weeks' time we'll bring him around. He will tell us about entrepreneurship, and of course, what we are doing in IPM, we are raising professionals, we're raising entrepreneurs, and we are raising leaders. Okay, those are the three big set of people we are raising: entrepreneurs, leaders, and professionals. All right. Okay. Now, Dr. Ikenna said something that the highest capital today is in money. And my mentor said that before we used to say que sera, sera, and today que sera is no longer sera. And being a doctor in economics, one of the things he said, those days they taught them that before you start a business, you need a capital. But they didn't tell them the different domains of capital. Okay, in the Igbo parlance, if you're Nigerian, in the Igbo parlance, they will tell you that the person that has people is more than the person that has money. The person that has great network of people is better than the person that has money. Okay, so what is that trying to say? As old as that statement is, it holds true that the greatest asset in a man's life is the quality of network of individuals. It says, show me your network and I will tell you your net worth, right? Show me your network and I will show me your network and I will tell you your net worth. So when it comes to entrepreneurship today, the greatest asset you need is people. And they summarize this in the key word called collaboration. Collaboration. One of the key attributes of an entrepreneur is being a great networker. A great networker. So if you've not been able to network the right people into your life, like Dr. Ken has said, we might still have to question your entrepreneurship abilities. However, I will break capital into two. I'll break capital into two. So you have the internal capital domain. The internal capital domain has to do with the uniqueness of your idea, your character. Dr. Iken has said somebody stood in for somebody to be giving him goods worth 2 million naira every week or every month. But this person is not paying 2 million naira, but because of character, trust, integrity, sincerity, trust, integrity, sincerity, these three things, these three character traits, they are very, very important for an entrepreneur. Okay. We might not have all the time to talk about some of the things that have happened to us. Some people have actually come to us and say, I need money to do this, I need money. You give money and the person ran away for life. The person ran away. I'm not talking about 1 million or 2 million. The person ran away for life. Okay, and that's why people go to bank. Bank don't trust you on your character. Bank don't trust you on your trustworthiness or your integrity. They trust you based on a transactional form of relationship. So you have something to hold on. If you like, you can run away. But in entrepreneurship, character is a very important asset. So you, as an entrepreneur, check yourself. Can you say you're a person of integrity? Can you say you're trustworthy? Can you say you're honest? Can you say you're sincere? Okay, when it comes to money, does money still affect your behavior? If money still affects your character, then there is a problem. There's still a problem somewhere. All right, so this is very, very important. Then among your internal capital, your network, the quality of persons you have, you mustn't have 100 persons before you could say you have the right persons. One person in your network is enough. It's better to have one person who has what you need than to have 100 persons that will take from what you don't have. There is a portion of the Bible that says, in the multitude of casual friends, you become a casualty. Okay, Solomon said something like that, that in the multitude of casual friends, you end up a casualty. So when we say network, we're not saying you should gather and amass a number of people to yourself. No, we're saying the right quality people, okay, bring them. Okay, if you have a problem of 1 million, do you know 10 people among your network that you can call to say, send me 100,000 naira? If you have a problem of 10,000 naira, for instance, as a startup, do you know who you can call? And the person can give you that person that can be of help in terms of being a capital. Then the next one there is the knowledge. In entrepreneurship, knowledge is foundational to your success. The quality of your knowledge determines the quality of your success. So if you run away from knowledge, you run away from your success. And one thing about knowledge is that nobody carries knowledge and put on your head. You go and find the knowledge. Like you've come to this training this morning, or you've come to this hangout. I'm sure there are quite a number of things you're learning, all right? You have to be disciplined to learn. You have to be disciplined to learn. Every one of us as entrepreneurs, we must be disciplined. You must have a schedule, a calendar for learning. Not jumping, not when you see information, no. You have to have a structured learning approach. Structured learning approach. You must know what to learn per time. And that is the gateway to having successful entrepreneurship. So that is the first domain, the internal capital, right? Now, the second capital. Now, you've seen how this internal capital, we saw how the person that invented Coca-Cola, how he sold out his idea. Okay, that was the much of what he knew then. But we also see in recent time People have sold WhatsApp. Yes, the owners of WhatsApp sold WhatsApp, but they are still co-owners of WhatsApp. They sold their idea, but they are still co-owners of WhatsApp, right? So they didn't sell outrightly. They made capital from what they sold, but yet they are still investors. They are still partners. Paystack sold out to Stripe, but Paystack did not sell outrightly. Paystack is still managing Paystack, but having Stripe as now the overhead owner or something like that. Then you see quite a number of examples going on every now and then. Facebook bought Instagram, but Instagram did not sell out to Facebook outrightly. The owners of Instagram are still having shareholding there. So you can trade your idea, but that idea must definitely be unique. All right. You can trade your character. Okay, you can trade on your character, and then you can trade on the network of people you have, and then you can trade on your knowledge. Okay, I'm going to share this simple simple case that happened. Now, somebody had been trying to start up a consulting firm. The more he tried, the more difficult it became. He wanted to start a HR and trading firm. The harder he tried to start, the harder it became. He quit his job trying to start, but at some point, there was no financial resources again. So he had written to different organizations, and then nobody was giving him attention. And okay, he said he was going to do something. That he dressed up one day and went into a particular organization that he submitted a proposal. He had actually done his research and found out that this organization is struggling. But because of the quotation he gave them, nobody even bothered to call him. Okay, so he went to the organization and he told them that he wanted to see the management. I wanted to follow my keywords. He didn't say he wanted to see the manager. He didn't say he wanted to see the managing director. He said he wanted to see the management of the organization. So they asked me, is it the manager? I said, no. Is it the MD? He said, no. Okay. He wanted to see the management. All right. Now, he got to the manager. The manager said, okay, the manager took him to the MD. Okay, so what is the thing? He said, I have a solution that I will give to you people now, and your business will skyrocket. And I'm giving you an assurance. I'm going to give you this for free. But if only you can do what I ask you to do, okay, your business will skyrocket. And the MD said, this thing you want to say, I don't think I'm the only one that needs to hear it. So let me call the chairman. So by the time you know it, the company, management, and the bit of the board, they came together. And this man began to teach them division of labor, all right? And try to explain to them why lack of division of labor in the organization has costed them so much. Now, before this man could finish, they now said, we don't have anybody in this organization who can do this division, this thing you just talked about now. We don't have anybody who can do it for us. Would you mind being part of our team? Now, this person went there just to try his luck, but he ended up becoming an employed person, an employed consultant with a car, with an office, with a driver, with all necessary allowances. And within a twinkle of an eye, he turned the organization around. So question again, do you have the knowledge that it takes to turn things around? It's not just to claim certificates. It's not just to claim awards or what have you. The knowledge that you have, is it practicable enough to make an entrepreneur out of you? And also, as an entrepreneur, do you really realize that knowledge is an important capital for you? Now, the last thing, the last one I would say is on the external capital domain. External capital domain. And it's going to shock you that all of what I'm going to share, there is no financial capital anywhere. Okay, there is no financial capital anywhere. Now, the key word that Dr. Kedna used when trying to explain this, he talked about leverage. Okay, leverage, collaboration. So other people's money, other people's resources, and other people's time. That is collaboration. Other people's money, other people's resources, and other people's time. These are the places you find capital. Okay, these are the places you find capital. All right, so thank you so much for that wonderful question, Mr. Olukayode. Thank you for your question. Okay, so now we are beginning to round up. So the next question I will ask as we begin to round up is, can you be a career person and an entrepreneur at the same time? If yes, how can it be done? If you've not shared the link, please go ahead, go on, share the link. Now, so many people are working and they say, okay, it's because I'm working, that's why I'm not an entrepreneur. Okay, and some say I'm entrepreneur, that's why I'm not a career person. So is it possible to have a blend of the two and still be successful? A successful entrepreneur and a successful career person. So Dr. Ikenna, over to you. If you have not shared the link, please go ahead and share the link. If you have questions, please feel free and drop your questions. If you have comment, please feel free to drop your comment, and then why not? We'll all look at this together.
Doctor, before
Yes,
Dr. Ikenna we take it up, please kindly help us address in such a way that it will be of benefit to younger generation, because I feel most people we have here, they are working somewhere. We have young people, maybe fresh graduates, they just finished school and they are struggling if they should venture into entrepreneurship or they should keep on, pushing for their career. So please help us make it flexible so it will address those that are, they are experts already and those that they are planning to drive their career forward. Thank you.
Okay, let's put our hands together for our moderator for coming back in peace. All right, so Dr. Ikenna, over to you.
Okay, starting from Damilola's concern, is not entrepreneur and career is not either or. It can be both. It's not either or this. It can be both and, or and both. What it means is, even if you're a fresh graduate, you can still be looking for job and be doing entrepreneurship. Suffice it to say that by you looking for a job, you're already employed because you're looking for a job. It's a job on its own. So you're employed.
That's right.
So the first employment is yourself. Why is it yourself? Because you have to be diligent to know how to craft your memo without one being supervising you. Craft your CV. Be diligent that, okay, every 3 hours in a day, I'll bring out to check my mails on this and do follow-ups. You are employed. Okay, just that the reward will come gradually. So, but it still boils down to, did you fall under that category of entrepreneurs that will end up becoming an entrepreneur? Otherwise, I would discourage you to be trying. Just keep trying, but you may not break even. That's just the thing. You may not break even, but you'll be doing something. Your business door will be open. Before you finish your sales, you've eaten small capital. You sell again. This month you do this thing, you blow. Next month you eat half of the capital again, just like that. Because you are not designed, you are not wired. It's like someone like me now. I want now to do some kind of business. All those direct buying and selling, you now owe me. I'll come and blow your eye. Why? Because I'm not designed. I'm not wired like that. I don't have that this thing up there. You're telling me today, tomorrow now. But and maybe that thing is a thing that, okay, let me do when I was doing laundry. Someone came to iron his clothes on credit. And I was like, do they iron clothes on credit? Like, it was so annoying. I was saying that it must be the best. Use iron, use this, put spray, put this, put perfume. We put all those things finished, giving premium service. It was that actually, so that's actually what.
Interesting.
So I said, this man, I'll blow your eye one day. But now look at the other way around. If I'm going for training, before I come for the training, maybe they've given me advance. Or me land on the venue, they're paying my balance, or if I even leave that venue, I don't have to hold anybody's clothes. So you see, that's a different dimension. So if I go, it's that to go and start doing buying and say, it will not work, will it work? It won't work. So what we are saying is, in your business now, not to Bento's question is that in your where you are working, can you be an entrepreneur? In fact, there's a training I'm even having by next week. And the title of training is I think having a business within your workplace, something like that. business within workplace, something like that. What we're trying to establish is that even where you are working, is it possible that you will have, I'm trying to get the flyer out. Let me get the exact name, because it's very important in this conversation. That in your workplace, are you seeing business opportunity, or you are just working there? When I went into HR consulting, because I saw opportunity in the HR. I saw a lot of gap in the HR that I wanted to fill, and that is in L&D. I saw there is a serious gap in L&D. So I said, okay, I want to fill that gap, and organizational re-engineering. Okay, so building businesses within and outside your career. That's the topic. So building business within and outside your career. So as a career person, can you build business within and outside your career? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
How within? Let's even go as narrow as within your organization. If your organization permits that an employee can supply, why not? Who say you cannot be supplying them if your organization permits? Who say that when you are in the organization, you should not look at how they are doing what they are doing, and one day you break even to go and do it? I don't have, where I work now, I don't have conflict of interest. My CEO, I'm very sure, if I posted this in earlier, he will join this class. He's not a Nigerian, but he follows up all when I come to work on Monday, he'll be like, can you educate me more what you are saying on so place? And he'll be like, I like what you're doing. Can you do that in the HR department also, or go to so department and do that within that so department? So they're identifying that. So if even the company is able to identify that you have this kind of entrepreneurship skill that is needed for the business, you become a mini consultant inside the company. There is no how. When I was in a particular company, Amasco, in fact, when I was in Amasco, we don't have marketing strategy meeting. I must be there. The CEO will be like, please go and call HR. HR must be here. We should all wait. And I will come honorable and sit down. Why? Because I have showed them that I'm not just HR of hire and fire and pay salary end of the month. I'm concerned about how we make sales, how our profit margin. What is Erano doing that we are not doing? What is Etana doing? I come back with market research. So if you are comfortable that, okay, I'm earning 100, I'm earning $1 million, I'm earning 2 million, they give me official card and all of those. Except, like I said, there's a caveat to that, except you are just wired to be an entrepreneur. But if you are wired to be an entrepreneur, there is, both of them can go hand in hand. You might begin to look at what to do. Okay, let's say you're an architect. Who say you cannot practice as an architect as a private practice? Who say as an admin person you can be writing proposal or memos for organization or be a visual assistant? Who say as a HR you can be doing L&D? Who says as a driver over the weekend you can't be taking people for a short journey? Who says as a cleaner over the weekend you can't be going to people's house to do industrial cleaning? Who says that as a messenger in your office you can't be using your bike during the weekend to run errands for people? So what we are saying is both of them can go hand in hand. It's possible, but the other thing is that you must be able to manage your time. That's where time management comes in. Else you break down. It's very key. It's very key. There's a theory I have. I've not been able to say it loudly, but within myself, I do say it in a very unofficial setting. The most place you can be indisciplined is when you are an employee. That's the way you can get away with indiscipline. Why? Because you have nothing to lose. You get to switch off your phone. The business owner is awake all through the night. Come and be disciplined when you have trillions of naira. The project where I'm working, $600 million or $1 billion. I don't know which of them, but I know it's a million. 600 is there. Dollars is there. So even if it's $600 million project, let me see how you go and sleep at night. Or tomorrow, workers are protesting and they're shutting down his business for one day. You know what that means for him? He cannot sleep. But for me, after we've discussed with the management on the strategy, when I get to my home by 9 from 9 to 5 a.m., I'm asleep. He will be awake calling whoever he wants to call. Because also, even that they're protesting at the front of his gate, he doesn't want someone to die in front of his gates. Else it will become another story for him. He might even now be sealed permanently. So both can go hand in hand. Both can go hand in hand seamlessly. But you must understand also the environment you are. There's some environment that are also very hostile to that. Don't do any business. If you like, let them be mining iron ore and you're selling akara. No, they don't want it. You're not competitors. It's not the same thing, but they don't want to do anything aside that. Well, a friend of mine would say that might be an indicator of a toxic work environment. Maybe. I wouldn't agree less than that. Because, I mean, you're minding iron ore, and a friend, how does it concern you? It's not done within my business time. In fact, an employee told me that she puts perfume. You can get your oil pay from my status. The MD called her to take that down. So she just waited at the salary, as she got the salary that much, she left. She said, no, she can't work here. So you also need to understand the environment of where you're working, and be sure that whatever you are doing also does not conflict interest. Because as much as that, I'm very sure almost all employment letter has that conflict of interest clause in it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, SME Doctor. So there are quite a number of things he has mentioned. Yes, you can pursue your career and pursue entrepreneurship, but you must find common grounds and then make sure there is no conflict of interest between where you're working and whatever thing you're doing. And then there is also another thing he tried saying, you have to know exactly if you must combine career entrepreneurship. You have to find the area that you can handle comfortably well. Having the full understanding that what you're trading is time. Okay, so find out what you can do. Okay, not all of us may become consultant, but in my own simple way of advising, I always advise people to become consultant because that's one of the easiest ways to reduce conflict of interest. Okay, that's the easiest ways. You don't have anything to carry. They don't have any physical goods or what have you, no product or whatever kind. What you're selling is in your head and is in your mouth. So if you can equip your mind, if you can equip your brain to release it from your mouth, you're good to go. So that's a very good one. So Dr. Kenna is a good example. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And we'll take one or two questions and then we'll be done. So I'll hand over to Damilola. Let him take over from here.
Okay. Wow. Thank you, Dr. Ikena, for that wonderful explanation. All right. I believe that people are learning and it's more practical for every single one of us that we are here today. So please, if you have any question, make sure you use the comment section. Ask your question and we'll read it out for our experts to give more explanation about any question you want to ask. So, when Dr. Ikena was talking, I was thinking, now, when we are talking about SME, especially those that just started and they are still struggling, trying to put things in place and the likes. What advice can you give? Or what are the strategies you think those that just started business should put in place in order for their business to go global? Or let me put it this way, is it possible for a small business to be globally recognized? And what can they do in that area? Please, over to you, Dr. Ikena.
Okay. So, the aspect of HR I major in is L&D and organizational development. And organizational development has to do with internal structures, putting internal structures in place. I believe that internal structure is the drive to any business. I want to talk about internal structure. We should not look at it only from the eyes of HR. Internal structure has to do with how you attend to your customers. It has to do with how you conduct your marketing, your branding, corporate imaging, how you hire, how you fire, how you relate with your staff, what are your processes and procedures. All right. So when we talk about organizational culture, it's a very interesting topic because it's undermined, but yet have led to the fall of so many that ignored it, so many businesses. You can be a very small business, but operate at an international level. Mm-hmm. When we say international level, we are not saying that you have branches in 10 countries. But first, your standard. Somebody have told me that the treat he got from one booker is a Transcorp standard. The treat he got from a booker. It's a Transcorp standard. That it means that booker is international. He said because the moment he came and he mentioned the name of the place somewhere in my area then in Cairo. The person will come and say, is one of Mankechi, something like that. One of these local this thing. But basically, my name na Iken na me say make I serve you food. What do you want? Do I need your name to eat? So I don't. When you need water, you know how to do. Hey, you know how to do that. You just call Iken na, please come. So for a business to have that international standard, you have to start first internal to develop processes, engineer its system, make it to be built on system. When your business is built on system, you can comfortably travel and come back and your business is still running. You can comfortably travel and come back, your business is still running. Anywhere you are. There are people that they can't travel. Why? Because their presence is a business. Once they step out, if they let them hold the token, or even if they are traveling with the token of the business for transaction, as long as they are not there, the business cannot run. So that business is still local. But the moment that you have set processes in place, structures, let's take, for instance, what do they call this? You want to set up a barbing salon. And you set up the whole place, very beautiful lights, everything. I just go and get a barber because they say that guy now to barb, just go and get him and put there. One day that guy will just run you down. How? You might just leave one day out of arrogance. But the moment you advertise, you call for interview. Yes, he's good, but let's still call for the interview. Because for the interview, you're not testing his technical skills any longer. I think they're testing his behavioral. We need to look at, okay, when the customer say, Bab me galas, you now mistakenly Bab bololo, and the customer complain, what are you going to do? You are looking at the body language of that person, how the person will respond. Then after all that, it's okay, you have passed the interview, you press the appointment letter or terms of condition, or if it's not an appointment letter, how your partnership letter, how you are going to work. Are you seeing that? And I'm telling him, okay, once you make any payment, nobody pays to you. They pay to the girl over here. The girl over here does this. Those are little processes that small enterprise takes for granted. Another one that if it's comedian, they'll say the part of them all is the ones people that feel like once they make money, the money is their own. It's not your own. No. It's not your own. It's the business money. So one of the best way to also put those kind of control is that you have to be on salary. Any business you are doing must be on salary. When I was running a laundry, my salary was very big as 25,000 naira as the MD CEO. My ironing person was earning, ironing whether 10,000, 15 naira per cloth, while the washing was, I can't remember again. But just like that. But the point I'm trying to make from all is that me, as your guy, is on salary. When I was reviewing salary, I reviewed both my own and every other person's salary. So I didn't just put it that, I didn't just put it that, okay, I am, sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. I didn't just put it that, okay, I'm the owner. So anytime I need money, I should go there and take money and then use anyhow I want. It's a wrong thing that many of us do. It's very, very wrong. Very wrong. So you have to have that discipline as well. You have to have that coordination that you can't just go into and dip in. If you put all those into processes, then another thing again is, like I said, you have to be disciplined. Serious discipline of knowing that you must, the way an employee wake up by 8 o'clock to go to work, you or guys will be there 7:30. Because if they know that our guy comes to work by 9 or by 10, they can be coming 10 minutes after 8, from 10 minutes after 8 to 8:30. Then you now extend to 12:30. Okay, our guy they come 12:30, so I can come by 9. And therefore, it means that anybody who comes to look for your client who comes before 8 o'clock or before 9 o'clock will definitely not meet you, and that's how you're running out of business. And before you know, you go local and eventually run bankruptcy. So thank you so much.
Wow. Interesting. That was wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Ikena, for this, amazing responses, the engagement, and information you've been passing across. Because of our time, because we actually promised ourselves that this section will last for 1 hour, but because it was getting more interesting when we started, we could not even manage the time. But then, we thank you for participating today, and we've already told us that we have a lot for us in store, and we wouldn't want every single one of us to not expect more from us as well. So please, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly do that immediately. And also, going forward, we have some other programs that we run through our YouTube channel. Coming up, we have different certification programs that we want every one of us to participate. But if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so now. So whenever we pass information across, you can see those information and also tag along. So whenever we want to have a meeting or want to stream some of our programs, please don't be selfish the way we normally say. Kindly invite your friends, your colleagues, your staff, and some other people that you feel they should also be those that will participate in this program. It is very good to extend hand of love to others. This season where we are in, it's a season where we need to carry people along and also learn together going forward. All right, so we want to appreciate every single person that joined us today. All right, and we want to appreciate Dr. Banito, and we also want to appreciate Dr. Ikena for his time. I was not surprised when he was giving us all what we need with so much accuracy and exactitude. Why? We normally call him SME doctor, SME doctor, and Oga HR. So he knows what he do, very well. He does it well, and that is very, very important that we also need to go for more knowledge in the area which we find ourselves. It's very, very important. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. If there's any information, please, we would pass those information across to us on our YouTube channel and also on our WhatsApp group. So please, let's all be on standby for information from Integrated Institute of Professional Management. Thank you, and do have a wonderful